These long dog days of summer, I mean, we just made it through a heat wave. Mama was parched through this heat wave. I was hitting up Dunkin' every single day, and I will continue to probably for the rest of my days, but especially this summer. Dunkin' is helping everyone stay cool this summer with its lineup of refreshers. These drinks are packed with bold, fruity flavors and served ice cold. It's amazing. Dunkin' refreshers are the perfect afternoon pick-me-up. I like to start my morning with them personally, and then sometimes I go back for a second one because I'm just feeling crazy. They come in a variety of delicious flavors, including fan favorites mango pineapple and strawberry dragon fruit. And then for a limited time, there's black cherry and there's pink pineapple. I'm going to tell you something right now, and it's a bold claim, let me tell you, but I stand behind it. Pink pineapple will change your life. It is so good. It has me feeling like I'm sitting in a pool, resort side, just living, honey. It's so yummy. Try your favorite flavor with green tea, sparkling water, lemonade, or Dunkin's all-new limeade. I haven't tried the limeade yet, but I'm going to. Usually I get my drinks made with green tea and occasionally lemonade, but I do really like the green tea. Or if you don't want to build your own, try one of Dunkin's curated refreshers like the Cherry Lime Ricky or the Ultimate Pink Daydream. The Cherry Lime Ricky, scrumptious. I could drink like 3 of these a day. They're so freaking yummy. Head to Dunkin' today and find your favorite refresher. Dunkin' refreshers contain less than 1% fruit juice. Limited time offer. When it comes to online college, Southern New Hampshire University is so good, it's scary. Listen, the facts don't lie. SNHU has degree programs that fit your goals, online classes that fit your life, and real support at every step. And if that wasn't enough, they've got some of the lowest online tuition rates in the U.S. This is an airtight case, you guys. Visit snhu.edu/morbid to get started. That's snhu.edu/morbid. Chilling crime cases are mysterious, but finding coverage shouldn't be. With the State Farm Personal Price Plan, you have options and can personalize your plan to help create an affordable price so you can get back to cracking all of life's bigger cases. Talk to a State Farm agent today to learn how you can choose to bundle and save with the Personal Price Plan. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. Head to statefarm.com to get a quote. Prices are based on rating plans that vary by state. Coverage options are selected by the customer. Availability, amount of discounts and savings, and eligibility vary by state. Hey guys, we just wanted to come on here and chat with you for a second because we hear you, we see you, and we love you.
And we would like to take your feedback into consideration, and we appreciate it. So we are diving hard back into some more true crime cases because, again, we hear you, we totally understand, and thank you for letting us know. Because the reason we were kind of doing a bunch of collab episodes was, one, they're just really fun to do. We've been really lucky to be able to hang out with these people, but also we kind of just needed like a mental break from like such hard cases. Mm-hmm. And it was like a nice little kind of like pull back a little bit. We feel refreshed. We feel anew. And thank you for being patient with us and giving us that moment just to kind of like mentally reset. Because, I mean, we're like, I don't know how many years, more than 4 years into this now. So I think we just needed like a true crime like reset where we were like trying to figure out what cases really meant something to us and which ones we wanted to go forward with. And we gathered them while we were doing those collabs and some of the spooky stuff. And it kind of matched up with spooky season. But now we're in November and it's coming. So
buckle up.
Buckle up. But we want to let you guys know that we really do hear you and that you're not just yelling into a void and that like we're not just being like, fuck off, you get spooky and that's
never.
it. Because I understand what you guys are saying. I myself, sometimes if I don't know a guest, will skip a collab episode on a podcast.
Yeah.
So I get it. I totally get it. We have had amazing guests.
I was going to say that. At the same time, I wouldn't skip any of the guests that we had because they're all incredible and they all deserve to have ears on their incredible work.
Exactly.
But we have done plenty and we will cool it for a little bit. Do know that we all have some like already that are going to be coming out. I think we're going to try to see if maybe we could put them on Fridays for a little bit to take place of the listener tales.
We'll make sure that you're getting enough true crime where you feel like
satiated.
You are where you want to be and where you came for originally. You know what I mean? So we're going to give you all the true crime you can handle. Don't worry.
And for those of you that do like the spooky episodes, don't worry. They're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
We're still going to sprinkle them in because we have fun with them.
They're a lot of fun. And that's why, you know, like we wanted to venture out into more of that stuff. But we understand when it's like you go too hard with one thing and you're taken away from the other thing. It's kind of a learning curve. We're just trying to figure out how to balance it all. But you know what? You guys gave good feedback. We're going to listen. So we're going to make sure we're given a healthier dose of true crime in here. And hopefully you guys like it. And actually, it's starting in this episode and it's going to keep going for a little while.
Yeah.
So you have a couple of pretty gnarly ones coming up.
Totally.
There, I have a two-parter next week coming in at you, and it's a lot of body parts.
Oh.
That's all I'll say.
Well, listen, guys, just know that like we do hear you and we
appreciate you.
The feedback. Like it only makes the show better. So with that being said, I hope you all feel heard, and I hope that we can continue to keep keeping it weird together.
Because you're the reason we're here. So it's about you, man.
You're the reason for the season. Love, Ash, and Elena.
So I hope you guys enjoy and thank you.
Hey, weirdos. I'm Elena.
I'm Ash.
And this is Morbid.
Hey, yo.
Hello, everybody. We just cleaned the pod lab and it feels really good in here.
Oh my God. We're not even actually really done yet, but
No.
it is feeling better.
We're organizing. We're hanging up some of the stuff you guys have sent us.
We're burning some of the candles that you've sent.
The vibe is right.
The
in here.
vibes are mwah.
The vibes are correct.
The vibes are vibing.
And by the time this comes out, Halloween will be over.
Wow, you brought that to a dark place.
No, but we'll be on the way to Thanksgiving
Yeah.
and Christmas season, which is always fun with kids.
It is so much fun. I'm like sad about Halloween this year. It's just like it went by, it came up
Too
quick and it
fast.
went by too fast.
Way too fast.
Yeah. But we had some
That's-
fun costumes this year, you and I. Yeah.
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 Elena was a circus ringleader
Yeah, that got like clawed in the face by a lion, and
named John.
John was a lion.
Mhm.
Yeah. And
I was proud
Ash
of.
and Drew were
Yeah.
Bride of Frankenstein and Frankenstein.
There's Drew. There he is. He
There's
just
Drew.
texted me. Sorry.
He was
I'll
like,
make that.
"That's me."
He was like, what? You called?
"That's me."
What?
But yeah, it was fun. But it's always like that lead up to Halloween that I get sadder and sadder because it's going to be over.
Yeah.
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 And then you just have to live spooky season, but like not everybody understands that,
I know.
you know. But
It's
here we
hard.
are.
You have Halloween pajama pants on now.
I do. I'm still
Cute.
rocking them.
Where are those from?
These are from Little Sleepies, I think.
Oh, are those the ones you ordered?
Yeah, these are the ones I got the kids, the same ones. So we
Cute.
all share the same ridiculous Halloween pajamas. They're really comfy.
They look super soft.
Little Sleepies. They don't sponsor us, but they should.
Lame.
Because they're great.
Shout out to Little Sleepy. Sponsor us.
That's right.
We started this and all of a sudden my throat feels gunky and I am pissed off.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It's still that time where
It's always that time with your children.
yeah, and we're also it's flu season.
Cold and flu season. Wash your hands.
Still cold and flu season. Wash those damn hands.
Wash your nubs.
Wash them.
Wash.
Make sure with soap.
And
soap
water.
is the very important aspect of that.
It's a major key.
Water
one might
temperature
say.
is great, but soap is the real important thing. So get those hands washed. But we got that. We got flu, cold and flu. We still got the cove floating around that
Yeah,
everybody
don't
seems to be
forget.
forgetting about. Still around. And then we also have RSV going crazy with kids. They're like flooding hospitals. Hospitals
Yeah.
literally don't have beds for kids.
And didn't you say the flu is like really bad this
yeah,
year?
and the flu's they're calling it like a triple demic or something like that. Like, because it's like all three are happening at once.
I'm done with the demics.
Yeah, I'm done with all of it. But we're in a constant state of colds in this house. Luckily, the kids seem to be throwing off colds like it's nobody's
Yeah,
business.
Because they're throwing them to us.
they're just whipping them at us. So we're
Yeah.
I have had a cold for 3 days. It's not a bad one, but it's still
No.
there. But I'm sure you all love hearing about my immune system, you know. That's why you're all here.
Well, we can move on to what you are here for, which is not only his immune system or mine.
Here we
Today
are.
we're going to talk about the princess who killed the prince but neither of them were even princesses or princes.
Whoa.
Marguerite Alibert, we're going to talk about today.
Ooh.
There's a lot of French in this story, and I attempted to take French for a minute. I'm not good at languages.
I have faith in you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But so I'm going to try my best with some pronunciations, and if I do good, I do good, and if I don't, I don't.
Yeah.
So there's that.
There's really no consequences that I'm going to give you if you don't do well. So
That's good.
I'm here for you.
And I don't have a
I'm
Twitter
here to support
so.
you. I don't think anyone really has a Twitter anymore after.
Yeah.
Woof.
Uh-huh. Yeah, we won't go there.
Yeah, guys, get rid of your Twitter. It's not a good place.
No.
Eek.
Just the fact, like I saw a report the other day that like specific slurs have gone up like 500%.
Yeah, it's just I think we've reached that point of social media where it's like, all right, we gave that a good go, everybody. Let's bye-bye.
Bye.
Go back to the old-fashioned things of,
Just send me a fucking carrier pigeon so I know it's real.
send an email.
Yeah. No.
It's fine.
No, don't even email me.
Don't even.
No, you can and you should, and I appreciate them. But
You're
like,
I'm just kidding.
Send me a carrier pigeon too,
Please.
while you're at it. All right, but we're going back to 1920s here.
Oh, the roaring 20s.
We're going to be in France. We're going to be in London. We're going to be in Egypt.
Oh,
We're jet setting.
Oh, okay. Let's go.
All right, so our story starts on July 10th, 1923, in London at the Savoy Hotel.
Ooh.
John Paul Beatty, who worked as the night porter at the hotel, was just, being a night porter, carrying up some luggage to the 4th floor.
Doing the damn thing.
And as he was making his way up the stairs, he thought he heard some arguing. And then he reaches the 4th floor and he sees 2 guests that he knows quite well, and they're spilling out of their room, continuing to scream at each other.
Uh-oh.
He very much should have known who they were the second that he even heard arguing, because these 2 particular guests had actually been staying at the hotel for about 9-10 nights now, and they were constantly at each other's throats. These guests were Ali Fahmy and his wife, Marguerite Alibert.
Ooh.
The former known as an Egyptian prince, and the latter known as his princess.
Oh.
Now, like I said, neither of them were actually royalty at all.
I was just going to ask.
Fahmy was a rich man from Egypt who was given the title Bey because of all the philanthropic work that he did. Bey comes from a Turkish word, and it signifies a person's rank as a provincial governor.
Okay.
But the press in Europe and America actually mistranslated the word and just advertised him as a prince.
Wow.
But he was not. He was philanthropic, but he was not a prince.
All right.
And he was super fucking rich, but
not a prince.
there you go.
There you go.
You're smelling what I'm
on
stepping
it.
in. Now, it was something that neither he nor Marguerite would go against. Marguerite had been working a long time to get to where she was. She liked her men rich. She liked them powerful. So she was like, yeah, fuck it. I'm dating a prince. Or marrying a prince. Now, she'd been married before, but a lot of her relationships were very short-lived. This one would also prove to be. Marguerite and Fahmy had only been married 6 months, and clearly it was not going well. So Fahmy looks at the night porter and he motions to his face and he screams at the man, "Look at my face! Look what she's done!"
Uh-oh.
And there was a mark on his face, but this was well above John Paul's pay grade. So he called on the hotel's night manager to report the incident, and he went along his merry way. He was barely down the hall when he heard 3 loud bangs, one right after the other. He ran back to the room and he saw the woman that he knew as Princess Marguerite standing over her husband, the prince. As he watched her,
I was like, what happened?
You were like,
did you
shut up and tell me.
malfunction?
I did. As he watched her, a pistol fell from her hand and landed next to Fahmy.
Oh,
Fahmy was bleeding all over himself, and John Paul could see a hole in his head from a bullet wound.
Whoa, that escalated.
Now, before he could think twice and before Marguerite could run, John Paul picked up the gun and grabbed Marguerite by the arm. And as he did, she fell to her knees next to Fahmy and whispered something in French in his ear. It's unclear what it was. Nobody's ever
I
picked
want
it
to
up.
know.
I want to know too, because it could have been something like, and you'll realize throughout the story, it could have been something like, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do this," or like, "Fuck you."
Or it could have been like, "Told you, sucker," or something really intense.
Yeah, exactly. Because she didn't mess around.
She sounds intense.
That's one way to describe her.
That's just me
So
taking
far.
the vibes here so far.
Just wait. Your home should show off who you are. Now is the time to boldly write the newest chapter in your home story. And your main character? It's Ashley. Ashley has styles that balance timeless appeal and modern trends to bring your personal look home. Yes, these are well-crafted and affordable pieces with eye-catching design, but they're also built to stand up to real life. With features like stain-resistant performance fabric, options that are incredibly durable, easy to clean, and stain-resistant with machine-washable covers. Plus, Ashley provides fast, reliable, white-glove delivery right to your room of choice, so you can style your space without any stress. Ashley was nice enough to send us a bunch of new pieces for my pod lab at my house, and when I tell you they deliver it to your room of choice, unfortunately, they did have to deliver to the attic, but they could not have been nicer about it. I got, or was gifted, I should say, the Revion Lake sofa and love seat. It's in this like olive colored velvety fabric. It's so nice. I will say it is so freaking easy to clean because if you know me, you know that I have a white cat and a black cat and then a multicolored cat. The white cat loves to just roll all up on this furniture and leave his hair everywhere, but it's so easy to vacuum. I also got the Meili coffee table. So I have that, like I said, in my attic, but I'm ready to order another one for my living room because this coffee table is so beautiful. It has this like antique old money vibe to it. I absolutely love it. And then finally, I got three actually of the core stone end tables. They have little shelves in them so you can dress them up and, kind of like personalize them to your style. I highly, highly recommend all of the pieces that I got. And I just recommend Ashley in general. It was such an easy process to shop with them and the delivery, all of that from start to finish. It was awesome. Visit your local Ashley store or head to ashley.com to find your style. Getting paid twice a month doesn't mean money is scarce. It just feels that way. That feeling makes you do weird stuff, like putting things on a card you didn't need to. Earnin removes that feeling. With Earnin, you can access up to $150 per day of money you've already earned, plus up to $1,000 between paychecks. Standard transfers take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees, and expedited transfers start at $3.99 and cap at $5.99. 5 million people are already on it, and honestly, it's wild it didn't exist sooner. Download Earnin on the App Store or Google Play, spelled like earning money without the G. Type in Morbid under podcast when you sign up. It'll really help the show. Earnin is a financial technology company, not a bank. Access limits are based on your earnings and risk factors. Standard cash outs take 1 to 2 business days with no mandatory fees. Expedited transfers available for a fee. Tips are voluntary and don't affect the service. Available in select states. Terms and restrictions apply. Visit earnin.com for full details.
So just then, the night manager arrived on the scene, and from the floor, Marguerite looked up at him crying, and she just kept asking, "What have I done?" And the night manager was like, Why did this happen? How did this happen? And Marguerite replied, "Oh, sir, I have been married 6 months, and it has been torture to me. I have suffered terribly." And then she just stared off in the distance and repeated over and over to no one in particular, "I lost my head. I lost my head."
Oh, man.
Isn't that so
That
creepy?
is really creepy.
So we'll get back to that scene, but first you got to know about the key people here a little bit better. So we're going to start with Marguerite. Marguerite was born Marie Marguerite Alibert in Paris on December 9th, 1890. She did not come from much. Her family was pretty poor, and her parents were both of working class. Elena's blowing out the candles.
Sorry.
And motioned for me to keep going, but I was like, wait, what?
Oh, sorry. The candles were making a little flickering sound. They're one of those like flicker candles. And I was worried that like an hour into this, all of a sudden it was going to be like, wait a second, can you guys hear that?
People are like, what the hell?
What the hell?
But Marguerite, she didn't come from much. Her family was working class folk. Her father, Fermin, was a coachman for a wealthy Parisian family, and her mother was a maid for another wealthy family.
Okay.
They lived in a very, very small, very, very cramped apartment on Rue d'Arhamilly, I think.
Oh, I know it well.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
It was a really nice area, actually, overall. And Marguerite was surrounded by like rich people and beauty, all the latest fashions, jewels, beautiful people. Everything was at her fingertips. But all she could do was stand by and kind of watch it, hoping someday that she'd be able to enjoy the luxuries. But for now, she was stuck with baby watching duty. Her little brother was 4 years old, and while her parents worked, it was her job to look after him. But unfortunately, one day while she was watching him, tragedy struck.
Oh, no.
Her little brother was hit and actually killed by a truck while they were playing in the street. As soon as her parents were called to the scene, Marguerite's mother placed the blame on her, even though she was a child watching a child.
Oh, man.
And she was sent away to live in a religious home run by nuns known as the Sisters of Mary.
Oh, wow.
They literally like banished her from the home.
And it's like, can you imagine the trauma she went through being there when that happened?
No, that's the thing.
Jeez.
Now, it wasn't far from where she lived with her parents, but she was abandoned and completely alone now. Luckily, it didn't sound like she suffered the kind of abuse that we know sometimes happens in stories like this when children are sent away to homes like this.
Yeah.
She learned, I mean, we can assume that it probably wasn't like peaches and roses and
Probably
sunshine,
not.
but I couldn't find that she was like abused there. She learned to sing. She got a basic education. She was also taught etiquette and different social graces that would be necessary to navigate her way through French society. So it wasn't all bad. And then when she turned 15, the sisters felt like it was a good time for her to get a job. And she was sent to work as a housemaid for a lawyer named Henry Jules Langlois.
Ooh.
He lived in a mansion with his family, actually not too far from where Marguerite's parents lived. So it must have been kind of weird for her.
Yeah.
And again, she was living around these high society people. So while she was performing her servant duties, she did her best to kind of study the people that she worked for and the rich people that they lived near. She wanted to know all the ins and outs of high society, and she was really able to learn through her time there. But it would not last very long. Because in the summertime of 1906, when she was just 16 years old, she got pregnant and she was immediately fired and excommunicated, from the family.
Oh my God. She just keeps getting kicked out of families.
I know. So when I heard that, I was like, was she like getting it on with Henry there?
Yeah, like what's happening here?
Is that why she was kicked out? Nobody's actually quite sure who the father was to this baby.
Oh, wow.
My money's on Henry or like someone in that house.
Something's going on there.
Because the way that they were like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
I think it might have been. But Marguerite did give a couple of options. She first said that the man was a 28-year-old who she had known her entire life. She said they were actually engaged to be married, but that her dowry was not good enough for him. And that's when everything came crashing down around her. And then she gave another option, according to Andrew Rose, who wrote The Woman Before Wallace, Prince Edward, The Parisian Courtesan, and The Perfect Murder.
Ooh.
And according to him, Andrew Rose, the father was an Englishman, and his father was a colonel administrator working in India. But this man's father wouldn't give him permission to marry Marguerite, so their engagement was called off.
Oh, sad.
Now, it's pretty well known that Marguerite loved to exaggerate stories and kind of fabricate them here and there.
I'm not shocked at all.
No, so who knows if any of those options are true. But what was true was the fact that now she was expecting. And in January of 1907, she gave birth to a daughter that she named Raymonde.
Ooh.
But since she didn't have much to take care of the baby was actually sent to live on a farm with like a completely different family.
Oh.
So sad. So she not only lost her baby and job, but now she'd also lost her place to live with the Sisters of Mary because they were like, you sinned, girl.
Yeah, that's a no-no.
So now she's 16, jobless, homeless, and completely alone.
Oh, man.
So in order to get by and survive, she did really the only thing that she could at that point.
Yeah.
She started working as a sex worker. Now, there's really not a lot known about like this specific period, like right when she kind of got out on the streets, but we can assume that it was not easy and that I'm sure it came with a significant amount of trauma.
Yeah.
Like we all heard the 5-part Jack the Ripper series.
Oh, yeah.
But eventually, Marguerite learned that there were different levels to sex work. I guess you could say to this job and some avenues that could provide her a much better life. Now, in the early 20th century, in France, sex workers could be organized into 3 categories: la courtisane, la fille d'occasion, et la prostituée professionnelle, which is the courtesan, the woman for hire, and the professional sex worker. But we say it a little different here.
Yeah.
Now, while the last 2 are pretty similar to what sex work looks like kind of in the present day, working as a courtesan actually afforded women much more opportunity.
All I can think of is Moulin Rouge.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. And that's kind of like what it is.
Yeah.
It's very that. So, and that's what Marguerite wanted to do. And she actually caught the attention of a woman named Madame de Nart, who owned a high-class brothel known as Maison des Rendezvous.
Ooh.
Now, it's not clear if that was the actual name of the establishment because that actually just translates into meeting house.
Oh.
So I don't know if like at all the brothels they were referred to like that, or if it was a
That
little
specific
meta name for this particular brothel.
Very meta.
But either way, Madame de Dart was really taken with Marguerite. She felt like there was something special about Marguerite, and so she took her under her wing. She taught her how to play the piano. She gave her speech lessons. She taught her how to dress, how to act, if she wanted to accompany these rich, powerful men in Paris. And Marguerite was actually said to be a fast learner. And, you know, she'd been studying this way of life pretty much all of her life so far. So she was ready in her own way. And in no time, Madame said that Marguerite became incredibly popular among her best clients. She specifically said that she was, quote, the mistress of nearly all my best clients, gentlemen of wealth and position in Paris,
Damn.
England and America and other countries.
The sparkling diamond.
The jewel. Oh, what's it in the crown jewel? Isn't that
the sparkling diamond.
Oh, sparkling diamond.
Yeah.
That's what you were saying.
That's what I said.
It went right over my head.
You were like, it's that.
Why am I dumb? But the
You're not
money
dumb.
that she was making and the people she was meeting really afforded her some new opportunities. And she started kind of becoming interested in the arts of Paris, the museums and the theaters. And she actually even started performing in plays and cabaret shows.
Wow.
And sometimes at some of the most like famous establishments in Paris. Now, it was her goal to meet a rich and powerful man so that she could always enjoy these luxuries and not have to depend on work to do so.
Of course.
And she also didn't want to worry about where her next check was coming
Hell
from.
no.
And she didn't realize that throughout her life, she would meet not one of these men, but a lot of these men.
Wow.
And that wasn't really the plan, but that's how it happened.
But here we are.
Yeah. So the
You know?
first man was Andre Miller. And she actually wasn't set up with him as a courtesan. They met by happenstance. He was 40 years old. He was tall. He was very handsome. And of course, very rich.
We love a tall man.
We love a tall
drink
rich,
of water.
handsome man. Now, his father had been a wine dealer who supposedly got wine for the Vatican when they needed it.
Oh,
Like, okay.
Like, geez.
But the issue was that this man, this Andre guy, this fella, what do you think?
Was he married?
He was married.
Yeah,
he was married.
Yeah.
Although it really didn't seem like too much of an issue because this fucker was able to live two separate lives. One at home with his wife and one at the apartment where he set up Marguerite
Oh, no.
as a kept woman.
Andre. Come on.
Not only did he rent her an apartment, but he bought her fancy presents all the time. He would travel with her. He would go take her to his racing stable where he kept his horses.
Damn.
And he actually taught her how to ride horses there. And she fell in love with riding horses.
Wow, this is very
Pretty woman.
no, I wasn't thinking that.
No.
But I agree. It's also very Thomas Shelby and Grace and
Peaky Blinders. I haven't seen Peaky Blinders yet.
Yeah, you gotta watch it.
Maybe it's
It's
based off
getting
of
good,
that.
guys.
It's getting good.
Season 4. Don't
What?
tell me what happens.
I'm watching White Lotus season 2 right now.
There you go.
So fucking good. Now, she actually, she learned to ride horses. I
yeah,
just
she
told you
did
that.
like Grace.
And they even went on trips across Europe together and they stayed at all of his multiple residences that he had
Damn.
everywhere.
Andre.
They spent a beautiful 7 years together.
Whoa.
Yeah. Marguerite even started going by Madame Meller and Maggie Meller, like taking his last name.
That's like common law.
That is
like,
actually
7 years.
precisely common
Yeah.
law. I don't know when common law started. I don't know if
Yeah,
it
I
would
don't
have
know
been
when
back
that
then.
is. Well, and I think I don't know if that's just a strictly like
American
that's our
thing.
law.
Yeah,
So,
probably.
yeah.
Taxes.
Taxes and
Yeah.
such, you know.
But so she was with Andre, but she was still working for Madame de Dart when Andre was away on business or, being a husband to his actual wife.
You know.
She started to get lonely while he was away, so they would argue when he came back around because she was always very vocal if he did something to piss her off. And that was something that he wasn't really used to with his wife back home. And he also didn't really like that Marguerite was still working, and he did not love the attention that she was always getting from other men.
Eek.
So he's away, she's mad about that. When he's away, she's working, and he's mad about that. So they were at each other constantly, and sometimes their arguments would become physical. Marguerite, on her own admission, actually started baiting Andre into fights by feeding his jealousy. One night, they got into a really, really bad, loud argument in public. And as they were fighting, Marguerite just walked out and walked home without Andre.
Whoa.
But to his home. And when she got there, she locked him out of his own house and let all his horses loose on his estate so that they could just roam around.
oh, damn.
Yeah. So, He had enough, and he
Yeah.
ended things with Marguerite.
Eek.
Yeah, it was not good. So it was 1914 when their relationship came to an end, and he was nice enough to give her a settlement of 200,000 francs,
Oh.
which would be about 30,000 US dollars back then, and about $900,000 in US dollars today.
Damn.
Like a pretty sick settlement for a dude she wasn't even married to. So with all of her new coin, Marguerite actually rented her own apartment in Paris.
Get it.
She's like,
Get it, Marguerite.
yeah, exactly. She was also able to hire 2 of her own servants and buy a stable with a few horses.
Whoa, look at her.
Yeah, she had climbed a few rungs on the social ladder.
Oh, I keep forgetting she's a murderer.
Yeah, she's a murderer. But
that slipped my mind for a second.
at that time, she had climbed up a few rungs of the social ladder, and she was really determined to get all the way to the top.
Eek.
So for the next few months of her life, she did all the glamorous things she possibly could. She went to the theater, she made well-connected friends, shopped for the newest fashions, rode her horses, and hell, she even bought a car.
Get it.
Which was a really big deal back then.
Yeah.
Actually, I guess France was like one of the leading like places when cars were first coming about.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but it was still really rare for anyone to have a car. So, and it was a big deal for a woman to have her own car.
That makes sense.
So she got herself a 2030 Renault touring car. It's picture like one of those black buggy looking cars with like the big wheels.
Oh, yeah.
And the convertible looking top.
Yep.
But yeah, exactly. So having her car meant that she could get even more connected to the upper echelon of the time because she was able to use her car to offer chauffeur services to like doctors, nurses, anyone with a high paying job at a prominent establishment. And then she makes connections there.
That's enterprising.
She's a good enterpriser.
She is. She's a good businesswoman.
So it was going well for a while, but then seemingly out of nowhere, she became sick. Now, it's not specified anywhere what she was actually suffering from, if anything at all, but her doctor suggested a warmer climate.
Okay.
So in the winter of 1915, she boarded a ship that was heading to Cairo, Egypt. Now, she needed an aide to travel with that would protect her because this was during World War I, and it was a really risky time to be traveling at all, but especially as a woman alone.
Yeah.
Now, her aide was a man named Mehmet Sharif, and she knew him actually because they had met in Paris years earlier. He was previously a Turkish ambassador to Sweden, and he escaped death during the Turkish Revolution by hiding out in Monaco and France. But he was a wanted man because he had spoken out against the Ottoman Empire and had been sentenced to death. But being constantly on the run was kind of his only option to stay away from that. Safe to say that he was a pretty impressive dude, but like, I don't know if I would have felt safe with him because
You're right.
people quite literally were constantly in search of him so that they could kill him.
Yeah, it feels a little counterintuitive.
Yeah, a little bit.
A little bit.
So he was her aide, and while they were traveling in Europe, he had been, or in Egypt, excuse me, he would get shot at multiple times. And he was like, you know what? I'm actually a little bit worried about getting you caught up in all of this.
Yeah, he's like, you know what? It just struck my mind that like you might get shot.
You might get
being
shot
with me
while you're with me.
Yeah.
And my whole purpose right here is to protect you. So I should probably dip.
He's like, people shoot at me.
A lot.
I forgot to mention that.
It, like actually
during
a
the
lot.
job interview.
It happened multiple times.
He's like, it didn't come up. You didn't ask me straight out, do people shoot at you
Yeah.
on a regular basis?
You got to ask the burning
You
questions.
got to do it.
So one night he was like, I think enough is enough.
Smart.
I need to move on to the next location. So Marguerite woke up to a signed photograph from him.
Wow.
And he slipped under her door before he got on board a ship heading to Geneva.
That is so extra.
I just like,
Here's a signed headshot.
here you go. Like, but people like did that shit back in the
People
day.
were so fucking weird.
Like,
it was so awesome.
You would just give somebody
Yeah.
a photo of yourself with like, and like write something on the
Yeah.
back. Like, how narcissistic, but beautiful.
Like everyone was narcissistic, but in like the best way.
Yeah, it was like a pure narcissism.
A kind of narcissism that you can write home about.
Yeah.
Like it was a good one.
A kind of narcissism that made the heart grow fonder.
Yeah, not the kind we have now.
No.
That's a bad kind.
But with her companion gone, Marguerite really had no choice but to go back to Paris because she's like, I
I'm
can't
saying.
travel alone.
No.
And it was also going to be too hot of a summer for her to endure in Egypt. Like,
Oh yeah.
it needed to be a warm climate, not a fucking burning climate.
Not the sun.
So by the summer of 1915, she was already on her way back. She only had spent a few months in Cairo. But I'm sure you know as well as I do by this point, Egypt had not seen the last of Marguerite. Because remember,
Oh, I know.
Fahmy was an Egyptian prince, quote unquote.
That's right.
So when she got back, she was not in the good graces of Madame Denart anymore. Madame Denart was pissed. She would not allow her to come back and work in the brothel. And for a minute, things were pretty hairy for Marguerite. Madame Denart was one of the most well-known and powerful madams in town. So she was not someone you wanted on your bad side.
She's going to blacklist you.
But at the same time, Marguerite had a really good reputation on her own and was well known enough to find work at another high-end brothel.
There you go.
This one was run by a woman called Madame Sonia de Thaval.
Okay.
Yeah. So Madame Sonia's brothel was a bit different than Madame Denart's. Madame Sonia had a waiting room for her gentlemen, and as they sat, they would look through photo books of the courtesans. There were all kinds of different girls that these men could choose from. What a fucking awful sentence that was.
Yeah.
There were married women, girls known as errand girls, girls looking for support for their theater careers. And a lot of theaters and cabarets at the time would look to women like Madame Sonia and Madame Denart to offer girls to act in their shows because it would bring in more business if you could be like, after the show, she's available.
Wow.
Which is like really fucked up. It also reminds me of Last Night in Soho.
Yeah, I was thinking that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was
That's
like
a
a
great
real
movie.
thing that happened and such a good movie.
Guys, great movie. Criminally undermarketed
Yes.
and badly marketed. Like, go watch that movie. You won't regret it.
Yeah.
Terrible marketing on that movie.
When I watched the commercials, I had no interest at all. And then for some reason, one of my friends told me, she was like, that it's really good. You'll like it. And I tried it and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, nothing like I thought it was going to be.
No.
And everybody's a Matt Smith head right now because of House of Dragon. If you like Matt Smith and you're suddenly like, ooh, Daemon Targaryen, go watch The Last Night in Soho. Because he's in it and he's great in it.
He's really good in it. You'll hate him, but he's good.
You're supposed to hate Matt Smith.
Yeah.
I don't know if he ever should play a character that you like.
No, it's the way of the world, okay?
It is.
But back to the theater where the girls were at.
Theater.
So just like she was at Madame Denart's place, at Madame Sonia's, Marguerite was a grande vedette or big star.
Sparkling diamond.
Precisely.
Exactly.
She was one of the most expensive girls to be with.
Whoa.
And she had work skills that included being a dominatrix. She would do lesbian activity, which was like very unheard of at the time. And sodomy, which was just literally not like spoken about at all.
Wow.
But she offered that service. Now, again, all things that were very hush-hush in Parisian high society and kept behind closed doors that were very quietly closed and locked with a few deadbolts.
Yeah. And put bolts and bolts of fabric on top of it so you can't hear anything.
Don't talk about lesbians. We don't talk about butt stuff back then, okay?
No way.
LOL. So,
LOL.
Ha ha ha. Now, while she was working at Madame Sonia's, Marguerite made the acquaintance of a very important man, Prince Edward VIII.
Oh, just him.
An actual prince.
Okay, just that guy.
Yes.
Yeah.
It seems that one of her clients actually knew Prince Edward and wanted the two of them to meet. Like, he wanted to set Prince Edward up with somebody.
Wow.
Because this was during a time where Prince Edward obviously wasn't married yet and he didn't have a ton of experiences. And actually, his people wanted him to have some sexual experiences before he settled down. So they made it happen.
Oh, right.
They would set him up.
Yeah.
You know?
Some people will they'll buy you some stuff for your new apartment.
Yeah.
Before you, but this is good too.
Yeah. Whatever works in your friendship.
Yeah.
So it was late April of 1917. The prince was 23 and Marguerite was a bit older. She was 27.
Oh.
The two were set up for lunch.
A coug.
And Marguerite was usually not one to fall head over heels. But she was immediately taken with the prince.
I mean, he's a prince.
Because he's a prince, exactly. He was a little shy, but he was handsome and very sweet.
Aww.
He loved Paris and all the beauty it had to offer, just like Marguerite did. They loved the same things about it. They spent hours together at this lunch. Lunch turned into dinner. And then when that was finally over, the prince asked her when they could see each other again after he walked her home.
Adorable.
He only had 3 days away from his duties, and he wanted to spend all of them with her. So we can assume that that was the case, and they spent the next 3 days together starting their love affair. But after those 3 days, Prince Edward had to get back to work because there was a war that was starting.
Yeah, and he's like a whole ass prince.
Yes, he's actually got to get focused on that. But even when he returned to work, he could not get rid of Marguerite out of his head. He could not stop thinking about her. And he referenced their time together as those 3 days in bliss in Paris.
Oh, man.
He really liked her.
Damn.
But it was hard for him to get back to Paris regularly, so he and Marguerite spent most of the year writing letters back and forth.
That's beautiful.
He would send his letters along with a gift or a photo of himself, probably. And Marguerite would do the same. She'd send him chocolate or other small tokens of affection. But one night, they finally did get the opportunity to see each other again. Edward was traveling with his parents in Paris, and he was able to sneak away to where Marguerite was staying at the Hotel Normandy in Deauville. Now, Deauville was pretty popular for soldiers that were on leave because it wasn't as closed down as Paris was at the time because of the war. Like, they kind of were just acting like the war wasn't really happening.
Yeah.
But since it was popular for all kinds of soldiers, British and American, it was really risky for them to carry out their affair in the restaurants and clubs because they could have easily been spotted and people would have been like, that's Prince Edward and that's a lady of the night.
Yeah.
And then they would have clutched their pearls and told on everybody.
Yeah.
And that would have been a big fucking scandal for the royal family.
So silly.
So those meetings went on for a little bit. But by November of 1917, Edward was getting busier and busier with his duties because of the war, and it wouldn't be long before he actually got deployed to Italy. So he started drinking heavily, probably due to a mixture of sadness from not seeing Marguerite and having to deal with the war. And he said he didn't really like being in Italy because he wasn't attracted to Italian women.
Yeah, I mean, you should definitely banish an entire place,
Like,
entire country, because you're not attracted.
what is wrong
To
with
the
you,
people.
sir? I think
Yeah.
he was kind of a giant asshole.
Okay, wow. That turned so quickly.
It did. He wrote about how he didn't want to have relations with any of the women he'd seen, sort of explicitly. He was a
Ugh.
douche, and they probably didn't think he was hot either.
Wow.
So fuck off, turnhead.
Oh, what a big bummer.
Yeah, I know.
Jeez, I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
We were all rooting
How
for
dare you?
He went down in history as like the worst. So
Yeah, so there's that.
that's fine. But he did finally actually meet another woman, and he started spending more time with her. Her name was Winifred Freddie Ward.
Sanderson.
No. And she would become his next mistress.
Oh.
Because his feelings for her started becoming stronger than his feelings for Marguerite. And he was like, okay, I'm going to try to break things off with Marguerite amicably. Clearly, he didn't know who the fuck he was dealing with because Marguerite reminded Prince Edward about all the letters that had transpired over the past year. And a lot of these letters had information about the war and different things that Marguerite should not know about. Things that could ruin Edward and the royal family if they were to see the light of day.
Oh, Eddie.
And she had kept every single letter.
Yeah, she did.
So he could like end things with her if he wanted to, but it was going to cost him a pretty penny.
Eek.
So she was like, yeah, just know that, buddy.
Just letting you know.
But we're going to put that on the back burner because compensation would come later down the line. Don't you worry. But first, Marguerite needed a new man to pay her way. So she actually had an operation recently to remove her ovaries because she did not want children. And while she was recovering, she met another patient. He was Charles Laurent, an Air Force officer who'd been fighting with the White Russian forces during the war. Now, he came from a very wealthy family. He had money of his own, and he was actually single and very ready to mingle.
Oh.
So Marguerite realized that if she were able to marry him, she actually might be able to get her daughter back, get her daughter a prominent last name, and finally be secure to live a very comfortable and well-off life.
Wow.
So
Big
the
plans.
thing was, Charles really liked her, but meeting Charles was not love at first sight for Marguerite. It was more like opportunity at first sight.
Not good.
Simply shelving one man for another. But after spending more and more time with him, she actually really did start to fall in love with him.
Well, good for Charles.
And it probably helped that he moved her from one apartment to an even better one, which he paid the rent for, and also gave her a monthly allowance of 36,000 francs, which is roughly $500 back then, but translates into about $15,000 a month today.
Oh, okay.
This motherfucker was giving her an allowance of what would be $15,000 a month.
An allowance.
Like, oh, just go spend a little money.
Here you go.
Jesus.
That's a pretty penny.
It's a pretty penny. So she was like, oh, I'll get back to Edward. I'm going to do this for
Yeah,
now.
whatever.
But by the winter of 1919, the two were engaged to be married.
Engaged.
Engaged. Charles knew who Marguerite was. He knew where she came from. He knew all about her background, but he didn't care. He
Yeah.
loved her and he wanted to make a life together. I actually feel bad for him retroactively.
I do too.
Because he was kind of conned into this.
Aw.
Even if Marguerite did grow to love him, which it seems maybe she did. But Charles may not have been onto Marguerite's plan. His family was, though. They urged him. They were like, you cannot marry her. She's a gold digger. She's after your money. Now she wants to like get her kid back. She wants to give her kid your last name. Like, this is really hairy. So they really weren't far off, but their pleas with him didn't sway him, and they got married in May.
Charles, I'm worried for you.
I know.
I'm worried.
They honeymoon in Venice, and it became clear on the honeymoon very early on that they were two very different people after very different lives.
That's a bad time to figure that out.
On your honeymoon?
I feel like that's like this, right? You just missed the time. You should figure that out.
I was like, people got married so quickly back then. Like, they were like, hey, you're hot. Like, do you have like one interest that I have? You're hot.
Marriage.
Let's just get married.
Let's go. It just so quickly.
Yeah.
Didn't know a thing about the other person.
No.
And then you find everything out after you're married, and it's like, well, this sucks.
Right. Like, you go on your honeymoon and you're like, oh, this will be so much fun. I love this guy. He's hot.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh, he doesn't want to go anywhere with me, and I want to go out and party. Like,
we
fuck
want
this.
completely different things in life. Like, that's a pretty big thing you guys should be talking about before you get married.
Right. And that's exactly what happened here, because Charles, he liked the arts and the culture. He wanted to go to museums. He wanted to see the sights. He's in fucking Venice. Of course he does.
Of course.
Marguerite wanted to party. She wanted to enjoy the nightlife. She wanted to meet rich people. She wanted to meet famous people. She wanted to be seen in the latest fashions. And she just wanted to do Italy the way that Marguerite wanted to do Italy.
Of course.
She didn't want to do it the way Charles wanted to.
No compromise there.
Nope.
None.
So they got through the honeymoon with a little bickering. Like,
they survived.
It didn't go too well. Yeah, they survived their honeymoon. But when they got back to Paris, I'm sure you're going to be so shocked to hear, things got worse.
They did? They didn't get better?
No, they didn't.
Oh, that's nuts.
Because Charles wanted Marguerite to be on his arm for all the social events he went to. And he also had some political aspirations that he would need her support for. He was actually offered a diplomatic position in Japan in 1920. And if he were to accept it, he and Marguerite would have to move there. So obviously he's like, I'm not passing up this opportunity. But he has a feeling that Marguerite's not going to be interested. So he gave her an ultimatum. Continue to be his wife, but get a little more supportive and come with him to Japan, or give up the marriage and go back to the life that she was used to living without him. Marguerite was very thankful for the options, and she ended up choosing the latter.
Oh, I had a feeling.
Yep, the marriage ended on March 30th, 1920, and only came with yet another settlement for the settlement queen of the fucking century.
For real?
I couldn't figure out just how much she got from Charles, but it was enough to maintain the apartment that he had moved her into.
Damn.
Hire more servants, get more stables, more horses for her stables. She now had 10 horses in total.
Damn.
She got a full-time groomer for the horses and 2 limousines.
Sorry, I took a sip of my coffee while you were talking.
That's all right.
Holy shit.
2, like, why do you need 2 limousines?
Even 1 limousine. What are you doing?
Yeah, are you starting a business? What are you doing?
What are you doing, girl?
But she was at a level now that she had never been at.
She's truly, like you said, the settlement queen of the century.
Oh, and she only
This is her career.
It is.
Yeah.
She's kind of a carn artist.
A carn artist. She's such a carn artist.
She's a carn artist.
Miss Marguerite. She's a carn artist.
What is happening
I
today?
don't know.
Also, is it kind of like smoky in here, or is it just me?
I mean, we got some candles.
Does it
Maybe
look
we should
smoky
blow
to
a
you?
couple of them out so we don't like set off the fire.
Yeah, it's
alarms.
looking a bit smoky.
A bit smoky.
A bit smoky in here.
I'm gonna blow some out. Ash is gonna vamp.
Yeah,
She's
I'm gonna
talk
keep
to you.
reading. So Marguerite moved on pretty quickly this time, and she met a man named Juan de Astorica, who actually shared a lot of her interest in nightlife and partying. So maybe this was going to be a good point for them.
It will be.
Elena thinks it will be. And by the way, at this point, she actually was able to get her daughter back.
Good for her.
But motherhood and the lifestyle that Juan and Marguerite were living didn't exactly mesh. So Marguerite actually abandoned her daughter for the second time and sent her away to a British boarding school called the Grange.
All right, you know what, Marguerite? Get fucked.
And you know what? I have to wonder if it was worth it, because in no time, this relationship with Juan fizzled out because of Marguerite's temper. And when things ended, she must have regretted her decision. So she collected Raymond and she left for Egypt once again.
Come on, this poor kid.
Right.
She's been abandoned twice and picked up 3 different times.
Yeah.
Now. Like, come on.
And it's like, she has no fucking idea who you are. She
Yeah.
spent most of her life at a farm without you.
Yeah.
And now you're picking her up and just sending her away and then getting her and then sending her
Yeah.
away again. Like,
Jeez.
stability is good for children.
And you're basically showing her that like she's an inconvenience, and when she is an inconvenience, you'll just get rid of her.
Yeah,
and then you'll
exactly.
go collect her when she's not anymore.
Let me tell you, if your parents treat you like an inconvenience, it might fuck you up for a little while.
Yeah, I would say so.
So she goes to Egypt with Raymond, and she actually was a mistress for a rich banker. But at
Okay.
the same time, she met the man from the beginning of our story, Ali Kamel Fahmy.
Ah.
So Fahmy, let's talk about him a little bit. He was born into a wealthy family in 1900, meaning that Marguerite was actually 10 years his senior. A little
Ooh,
cougar action there for
she
you.
is a cougar.
Cougar. His father passed away when he was 7, and since he was the only boy in the family, he got a very large payout, and he was totally spoiled by his remaining family.
Damn.
Then his mother passed away when he was 16 years old, which allowed him to get the rest of his dad's estate.
Okay.
So he amassed a lot all at once. And he also, at this same time, became involved in the cotton market. And it was at a good time because when he got involved with it, cotton was extremely more expensive during the war. And it ended up making his family even richer than they had been in the past.
Okay.
Now, allegedly, his family's income back then was never less than $40,000 per year, which
Damn.
today would be about $2 million.
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
Cool. Never less.
Their income was never less than about $2 million.
Damn.
Now, Ali had a lot of women interested in him, mostly for his money, but also because he was a good-looking guy. But what he didn't have was a lot of friends. His secretary, Saeed Anani, said that Fahmy was, quote, nervous with a weak personality. His behavior had his neurotic side, and he had difficulty making friendship with peers. He eventually did, though, connect with a group of Egyptian intellectuals and had really a good time enjoying different events with them. And he was also said to give a lot of money to different causes throughout the war, which, as I said earlier, helped earn him the title of Bey. So that's where that came from. That's where that comes from. So Fahmy, while making friends and donating to causes and enjoying the arts, also found time to be a bit of a party guy. He liked
a playboy.
liked a good party. Oh my God, he was described as a playboy.
Oh my God. I was there.
Oh my God.
I was there. That's why I knew.
What?
I was the one who coined it.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Time traveler. Now, that was what the media really loved to focus on because they were like involved at this point. The newspaper people loved to write about him.
Cool.
And they would write about all his visits to the Parisian and
The Sherwin-Williams summer sale is here. Get 30% off select paints and stains or 35% off their newest product, Emerald Symmetry, July 17th through the 27th. Whether you're looking to refresh your interior or your exterior, they've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders. Every good detective needs a partner to support them on important cases. Think of a State Farm agent like your sidekick, there to help you along the way in your search for coverage. State Farm can help you choose the coverage you need, whether it's for your home, car, boat, or even RV. With so many options, it's nice knowing you have help finding what fits for you so you can get back to solving all of life's bigger cases. Go to statefarm.com or use the award-winning app to connect with a local agent and get a quote. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Moroccan nightclubs. And they also really like to speculate on his love life and the multiple mistresses he had, as well as planting little seedlings that maybe he wasn't only interested in women, but men too. Again, something now that we would not care about at all, but back then it was a very salacious rumor to be spread.
Of course.
So Fahmy's family knew that the media was going to continue reporting on his life until he settled down and found a suitable wife. So they started laying it on thick, trying to get him to that point. Now, he was the only man left in the family, and they were determined to make sure that he carried on the family name. So perhaps finding a lady to settle down with was on Fahmy's mind when he and Marguerite met at the Semiramis Hotel. Because just like all the men who came before him, Fahmy was struck with Marguerite. He was also somebody to be struck with too, and he was very much Marguerite's type, if you catch my drift.
Oh.
Because like I said, he was 23 years old and a millionaire.
Yeah,
He was-
really ticks all the boxes.
It does. He was said to own 11 cars, multiple boats that he kept on the Nile, and a casual palace.
Very casual.
Just a palace.
I just looked him up. He's a very handsome guy.
Yes, he
Very
absolutely
handsome.
was. And he actually, at one point, to like woo Marguerite, decorated one of those boats for her. He laid out flowers all over the boat. He got an illuminated monogram of her initials to put on the
Wow.
boat and invited her to spend an afternoon with him.
Damn.
She declined the offer.
Wow.
She said, "No, thank you."
No, thank you.
So she was still with that rich banker, and apparently she was playing the long game.
Okay.
But things didn't work out with that banker, and she ended up returning to Paris without Fahmy, and she never took his offer up to take her out again.
Wow.
But according to our good pal Andrew Rose in his book, The Woman Before Wallace, Prince Edward, the Parisian Courtesan, and the Perfect Mortar,
That one. Moida.
Marguerite, quote, made a mental note of this interested party for future reference.
Ooh.
So she's like, I'm not going to go out with him quite yet. I'm going to play a game here, and I'm going to go back to Paris. But it was Fahmy who made sure that he ran into Marguerite again when he took his next trip to Paris. Except she was actually seeing somebody else and keeping Fahmy on the back burner while he was there. It's weird because with as much as I've learned about her, you would think that she would drop everything for a prince. Like,
You would think.
it's so weird that she was like, yeah, I'm just going to keep dating this other guy. I'm like, he has a palace.
Yeah.
And his family's income doesn't ever drop below 2 million.
But maybe she was burned by the first prince. So she's like,
That's true.
I don't know.
Okay, that's a good point.
Maybe she's like, princes, they're not where it's at.
Maybe. And also, but then again, though, she was burned by the first prince, but it ended up working out for her financially because
True.
she could blackmail him.
That's true.
So she could have blackmailed
But maybe
Fahmy.
it actually hurt her feelings. And she was
Maybe.
like, I don't want to go through it again.
I could see
Perhaps.
that. Perhaps if she had feelings. I'm
If
not
she
sure
had
if did.
feelings, I was going to say if she had them, I don't know.
I don't really
To me,
know.
it's not feeling like she does. Like my feelings are feeling that she doesn't have feelings.
Feelings.
But that's just me.
Well, I also do wonder if it was because he was 10 years younger.
Yeah, that's true.
And she's
I didn't
looking
think of
for
that.
like,
She's
in
looking
her
for-
mind, like a rich, powerful man.
Yeah.
She's not thinking that that's somebody 10 years younger than her.
That is true.
But he was
Yeah,
rich and powerful.
There you go.
Who freaking knows? But anyway, several months after their failed meeting in Paris, because he tried to meet her and she was like, nah.
No.
One of Marguerite's friends gave her a ring-a-ding-ding on the phone. And she was like, girlfriend, I got tea and it's hot. Let me
Ooh.
spill it. She didn't say that. The tea
You don't
was...
know.
Yes, I do.
I
Yes,
know it.
I do.
I know it.
But the tea was that this friend had actually heard from Fahmy themselves. And Fahmy told them he couldn't get Marguerite out of his head. No matter how hard he tried,
Damn,
he
what-
could...
What is she? What does she have?
I don't know.
My
I have
goodness.
no idea. But he had to meet her again. And it was actually the entire reason that he came to Paris in the first place.
Wow.
The only reason he came to Paris was to see if he could meet her. So this friend was calling to see if she could get Marguerite to have dinner with him. She's like, he really wants to have dinner with you. And like, why the fuck wouldn't you?
Yeah, why not?
Now, by this time, Marguerite had ditched the last guy that she was with. So she agreed to meet Fahmy at the Hotel Majestic. It's like a very famous hotel.
Yeah.
So they had a lovely lunch together, and within days, Marguerite was meeting all of Fahmy's closest friends, his associates, and actually even moving into his suite at the Majestic.
Oh, okay.
And then before long, they actually traveled to one of Marguerite's old haunts, Deville, and took up a suite at the Hotel Normandy, which was where she was staying when she was rendezvousing with Prince Edward.
Wow.
Taken-
Another prince.
Taken two princes to
Two
the Hotel
princes.
Normandy. So by that fall, which was in 1922, Fahmy and Marguerite were traveling through Europe enjoying the good life. They were dining in all the best places, giving each other lavish gifts, going on different trips, so on and so forth.
I thought you were going to say giving each other lap dances. And I was like,
They probably did.
Get it, guys.
I'm sure they gave each other a lap dance or two. Go off, you two. Now, Fahmy was completely smitten with Marguerite, but his friends were starting to wonder about her intentions.
it seems like the people around these men always
Yeah.
have her number, but these men do not.
These men do not, because they're so smitten.
They're so smitten.
and infatuated. But
Of
their
course.
their friends don't have the blinders on, and they're like, she's trying to rob you dry
Yikes.
of every last penny you have. Wow.
Yikes.
But they had a right to wonder, as we know. So I wowed myself there. The fuck was that? What was that? What was it? Scared.
It was a bag that fell. I don't know
was it
why.
my oatmeal?
It just went boop, 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 boop. But it scared me. I went,
I heard
that
you.
was scary. I thought that was the person.
Maybe it was.
And Keith Morrison is over in the corner, so it scared me a little bit because I was like,
Oh yeah, because
There's
we
a man.
moved him. Man.
this man.
Well, there's men
Wow.
in this story.
What
And
an
they're all
episode.
concerned about their friend. I know, for real. Because anyways, soon Fahmy would be traveling to Milan on business, and he actually wanted Marguerite to come with him. She refused. She was like, I'm
Ooh.
not coming to Milan with you. I'm going to hang out here and do my thing.
It's a no for me.
It's a no for me, dog. But later that year, she said, I'll meet up with you in Cairo later on. So off he went without her.
What a life.
No, it
Let's
was
meet up with you in Cairo.
I'll just hang out with you
Yeah.
later. It was almost October when Fahmy returned to Egypt, but he barely had heard anything from Marguerite.
Damn.
He was sending her an influx of love letters that were romantic, but to Marguerite came off a bit insecure and desperate.
Aw.
But I think he wrote
Poor
sweet
Fahmy.
things. He would write things like, my thoughts are for you, who by your bewitching charm, your exquisite delicacy, the beauty of your heart, have brought out all that is good and generous in human nature.
Wow. That's not insecure at all. That's just really nice.
It's just sweet. And later he sent one that said, come quickly and see the beautiful sun of Egypt. I'll be saved from my death in my bed. My only consolation is you. My recovery I owe largely to your sweet and beneficent vision.
Wow.
So, like low-key, he was saying that he was sick and that she needed to come rescue him from his woes.
Yeah.
And he
like-
actually included tickets for her to get on a ship from Paris to Cairo along with that letter. And she was like, no.
Wow.
She was like, you might be sick, but like, I'm busy.
whoa.
Yeah. So she stayed in Paris and she kept hanging out with other dudes until she was ready to go back with Fahmy. And she actually did finally return to Egypt in November 1922 with her sister Yvonne. And they were greeted by Fahmy, who was in perfectly fine health.
Of course he was.
He had lied a
He
little
was
bit.
just trying to get your ass over there.
He certainly was. So when she got to the palace, I bet she wished that she hadn't dragged her feet for so long. Because this fucking palace.
It's a palace.
First of all, it's a palace and
It's
it's
that.
stunning. It was everything she ever dreamed of. There were marble columns, beautiful tapestry, ornate rugs all over the place, antique French furniture from like the 16th century. Fahmy had even decorated Marguerite's room with all kind of expensive tokens of affection, like monogrammed accoutrements and a dressing table.
Ooh.
Like a vintage dressing table.
Ooh, vintage even then.
Once they got there, they spent their days horseback riding, taking in the beautiful landscapes of Cairo, and just doting on one another. It was beautiful.
Giving each other lap dances.
Yes, exactly. It was beautiful.
It was.
This was pretty much everything that Marguerite had ever dreamed of, and everything that she was trying to attain throughout her entire life. She had money. She had power. People wanted to be her, and especially wanted to be her when Fahmy asked her, marry me.
Fahmy.
Just after a couple of weeks.
Poor Fahmy.
I know. So Fahmy's family were completely against this idea.
Shocking.
They said, you've known this woman for 4 seconds. We don't really like what she's about. And she's also 10 years older than you. And we know about her past and we're not interested.
This seems to be the thing.
Yeah, his friends were worried, his associates, his family. It's just, it just wasn't for them.
It's just not for them.
But guess what? Fahmy didn't care. He did not care at all.
He doesn't give a shit.
First of all, he was young. And second of all, he was infatuated. So he ignored everybody's warning and made plans for a civil ceremony in December of that year and a religious ceremony in early 1923.
Cute.
People were not happy.
Mm.
People even on like the outside, because remember, this guy was pretty well known and respected in Egypt. And unfortunately, a woman like Marguerite just wasn't.
Of course.
She also wasn't Muslim, so it was kind of like looked upon like,
yeah, there's layers of things here.
yeah, this was not something that was agreed on back then. The Dundee Courier reported on the relationship in 1923, quote, their natures appeared to have been unfitted to one to the other. He, a quiet, retiring man, and she was fond of a gayer life.
Aren't we all?
I'm fond of a gayer life.
And also, I love when people try to like have an opinion about a relationship that they are not in.
Yeah,
like
I know.
that's my favorite thing. Is like they seem not suited for each other. It's like
well, fuck off because it's
you
not your
literally
relationship.
don't know them.
No, not
like
at
that's
all.
a strange thing to do, to sit there and be like, yeah, I don't think you're good for each other. It's like you literally don't fucking know them.
No, like honestly, reading that sentence, a quiet retiring man, and she was fond of a gayer life, that's me and Drew.
I was just gonna say, and honestly, that is like what you need.
Yeah,
in my opinion, if we're gonna throw opinions out here for things that we shouldn't be.
Why not?
My opinion is that it's a good thing to have a little ebb and flow
I think
in a
so, too.
relationship. Not, you don't want to be the same exact person.
Yeah, because I think Drew, like, for example, chills me out when I need to be chilled out, and I can kind of bring him up to the clouds when he's a little too grounded, you know?
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's like John and I. John can like bring emotions out when I don't want to. And with him, I can like tone his anxiety down
when
he needs it. And like he likes, he would live in a like minimalist lifestyle.
100.
And I love things. Like I love collections of things.
Yeah.
I like to be surrounded by my things.
You're a maximalist.
I'm a maximalist. And we kind of like bring each other, like he tampers it down just enough that like where it needs to be, or else I would probably just be living in like
a museum
of things
among your relics.
Yeah. And I kind of like make him see like the fun and clutter sometimes. So
that's the thing. I think when you're, and even if you're alike, it's just like I think your opposites complement each other.
Whatever
you know?
your little ebb and flows are, I think they're necessary.
Even in friendships, like you and I, and like sisterhoods or whatever you want to call it, you and I are completely different people.
Exactly.
But we still get along like we're thick as thieves.
Me and Deb, totally different
people.
But that's why our friendship has lasted so long.
You and
like,
Lynn's pretty different people.
We're totally like, you just find what works. But I always hate when people will point to that, like, oh, it's not going to work because they're so different. And it's like, that's not always the kiss of death, man.
And it's also not your fucking business.
Yeah, for real. That's what the whole world has needed for a long time. Mind your fucking business.
Live and let live. But back to the story. The only reason Marguerite was like somewhat accepted and protected was because she was connected to Fahmy and because he loved her. Otherwise, this would have been a very different story.
Eek.
But the other thing was things were like not going so well behind closed doors. Because just a few days before the civil ceremony was set to take place, Marguerite and Fahmy got into a very explosive argument.
That's not good.
No one's really quite sure how this argument started, but it got so bad that Marguerite booked a return passage to Paris. And it's been speculated that the fight started due to Marguerite's quote-unquote addiction to flirting.
Oh,
which, you know,
that's what we're calling it.
That's what we're calling it. Maybe that was the reason. And maybe that was the reason that some contracts and extra steps popped up right before their wedding.
Yeah.
He was like,
that seems right.
I'm gonna get a prenup.
Yeah.
Or, you know, maybe that was the reason, or maybe it was Fahmy's close circle, making sure that Marguerite was in this for the right reasons and, you know, testing her a little bit.
Maybe a little mix of both.
But either way, Marguerite was to prove that she was truly divorced from Charles. And then there was a contract written up, like I said, almost kind of like a prenup, in which Fahmy agreed to pay $2,000 of her dowry upon signing, and that the remainder would be paid if he were to die or they were to get a divorce.
Okay.
The final provision was near the end. It stated that Marguerite must also convert to Islam. It's believed that this clause was put into their agreement because of a clause in another very important piece of paper, Fahmy's mother's will.
Oh.
She wrote in her will that he would actually lose his inheritance if he married a woman that was not Muslim.
Oh, wow.
She used a different word, but I'm going to put it that way.
Okay.
So Marguerite agreed to converting to Islam, but she didn't really have to adhere to any of the rules that actual like women have to adhere to when they are Muslim.
Yeah.
She didn't have to adhere to the dress code. She didn't have to give up her French nationality. She actually didn't even have to practice the religion. And when she met with a Christian priest during her conversion, which is one of the steps you have to go through, he was meant to try to convince her to, quote, stay within the folds of the mother church. And she told him that she wasn't going to betray the faith of her childhood and that this was all about money.
Wow.
She said like she had to take Fahmy's interests into account.
Okay.
I'm like, you're not like attending a football game with him or like
exactly.
watching a movie you might not normally watch. Like,
it's a pretty big step.
This is a whole ass way of life.
Yeah.
Like you should probably take that a little more seriously.
I would say so.
She didn't.
No.
And once they were officially married, they definitely, I think there seemed to be like a big change in Fahmy from what is reported. Because instead of being infatuated with Marguerite, he seemed to be kind of trying to mold her into his version of the perfect woman.
Ooh,
He
that's
wrote
never good.
No, it's not. He wrote a letter to her sister early on in the marriage. And at this point, her sister had gone back to Paris. And in this letter, he was explaining that he was training Marguerite because women were not to have bad habits.
Oh, no.
But it clearly wasn't working, though, because they were fighting worse than ever before. Just days after that letter was sent, they got into one of their worst fights yet, and each of them told the other that they were going to kill the other one.
Wow.
Just newlywed things.
I was like, what's happening here?
And they
Wedded bliss.
There's like a couple steps to getting married, like in their process. So they did like a different ceremony, but then they had to take the Islamic rite of marriage. So leading up to that, they were really going at
Fighting
each other
like cats and dogs.
And it's like, you're going up to this like beautiful ceremony that you're going to have with each other. And this is the way you want to remember
yeah,
it.
like what?
So in January of 1923, Fahmy and Marguerite did take the Islamic rite of marriage. It was a separate ceremony where they would sign different documents and become legal in the legal and official in the eyes of Islam and the Egyptian government.
Okay.
But right after that ceremony, things got even worse.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, the son's a murder, so
Yeah, it's
I see it going pretty steadily downhill.
It's like they just like keep climbing up the steps of yuck.
Yeah.
Quicker and quicker as they go. On their honeymoon, Fahmy actually tried to lock Marguerite in her cabin so that she wouldn't flirt with anyone.
What?
On their honeymoon.
So she wouldn't flirt with anyone?
Yeah, that's what they said. But obviously, Marguerite was not the kind of woman to be locked away. So this started a knockdown, drag-out fight. And this was the first one reported between the two of them that did become physical.
Oh, man. This is such a depressing relationship.
It is. And it's sad because it's like, it starts kind of nice. Like,
well, like he's like infatuated with her and she's just kind of like playing hard to get.
Yeah, like his side of it starts nice. Hers kind of sucks.
Yeah.
And then it's like, you finally decide to marry one another. And I think
it just gets worse.
I think Fahmy wanted to marry Marguerite because he thought she was beautiful. And I think he liked her personality. And then I kind of think she just married him for the money. And I think maybe he started to see that and started resenting that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think he thought things would change a little bit when they got married. But I don't think she was the kind of woman to be changed.
I don't think so.
Basically, they just were not meant for each other.
Definitely not.
Yeah. So like I said, and I just want to let everybody know that like a little bit of a trigger warning for domestic violence because this becomes physical. They're in Egypt, though, honeymooning in Luxor, excuse me. So Marguerite knew that she needed to be careful and went back to the cabin. So to calm down, she wrote her friend a letter and she told her, quote, "I have on my arms the marks of my husband's gentleness. I ask you to send here 1 or 2 persons who will have this condition established so as to make use of it."
Oh,
so clearly she was documenting things like this so that when the time came to request a divorce, she'd be locked and loaded with reasons as to why she wanted one.
Of course.
And I can't blame her for that. If he got physical with her, then you should document that.
Absolutely. I would document the hell out of that.
Same. So when they returned home, Fahmy, according to Marguerite's writings, started going out at all hours of the night with other sex workers. She said both men and women, and he was smoking a ton of hash and just like not being a husband.
Partying.
Not acting like a married man. And she was becoming irritated, even though she never really acted like a married woman either.
Do as I say, not as I do.
Yeah, I guess. So as the days went on, the both of them were really resenting each other more and more. Fahmy was really wishing that it was as simple and blissful as it had been in the beginning. And I think Marguerite was just wishing that she had stayed in Paris. She was bored, she was confined, and those were 2 things that she absolutely loathed.
Oh, no.
So in early May of 1923, she decided that she wanted to go out for a night by herself. But she did, again, need to be escorted by a male because she was in Egypt. So one of Fahmy's valets took her to the theater where she enjoyed a nice show. But when the show was over, she didn't want the valet to drive her home. Instead, she had one of Fahmy's friends drive her home.
Uh-oh.
And of course, he assumes something happens.
Oh, no.
So when she gets home, he's pissed. But this is where things take a dark turn. They started an argument, and as things escalated even further and further, Fahmy allegedly punched Marguerite in the face.
Oh my God.
Yes. She claimed that her jaw was dislocated, but then later said that she had exaggerated her injuries a little bit.
My God.
Yeah. Which it's like, you don't have to exaggerate anything about that situation.
No.
If he punched you in the face, then that is fucked up enough on its own.
Yeah, exactly. You don't need to make that any worse.
No. So Marguerite wanted to go home to Paris, but she could not go alone and was not going to be going alone. So later in May, the 18th to be exact, the two of them got on a ship headed for Europe. Their voyage was absolutely terrible. They were arguing all the time, getting into tons of fights with each other, to the point where the ship's captain was actually called down multiple times to calm their quarrels.
Oh, damn.
Multiple times. He's like, y'all, I'm driving a vessel from Egypt to Europe. Can you give me a minute, please?
I'm driving a whole ass vessel.
I am driving a ship.
I am a ship captain.
I don't have time for this.
Let me do this. Let me maneuver.
Right.
This vessel.
They did maneuver the vessel and they did get to Paris, but it took some time because he had to keep stepping away.
He had to take care of the kiddos.
I'm saying.
They're fighting again.
Cats and dogs out here. So when they finally got to Paris, Marguerite went right back to her old ways. She was like, peace the fuck out.
She's in her house now.
Yes, exactly.
So she's like, let's go.
And she is a little bit more free. She's got a little more at her fingertips here. So when she's away from Fahmy, she's taking clients. She's staying away for extended periods of time with said clients. She's spending money left and right.
Left and white.
She, in my opinion, rightfully so at this point, was talking about getting divorced. She told all of her friends that she simply would not go on in Egypt with Fahmy, and she needed out of that situation. But what she didn't realize, but soon would, was that the contract she had signed during the Islamic ceremony didn't really have an out for her.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's scary.
The only way out of the marriage would be if Fahmy initiated the divorce, which he likely wouldn't because it would have been a massive scandal.
Yeah.
Or if he died.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. And even then, she would have to fight his family for whatever she wanted. So spring turned into summer, and their relationship continued to be rocky. Marguerite actually hired a private investigator to follow Fahmy and specifically report back about his sexual engagements and habits while he wasn't with her.
Wow.
She was very much trying to prove that he was having relations with other men.
I was going to say that was what that was.
That was exactly what that was. Because, again, it would have been so crazy back then. So she knew, and again, she knew that if a divorce was initiated on his end, her past would be brought up. So she wanted to be able to fire back or blackmail him into some kind of settlement.
Yeah.
So now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time to head back to where we started.
Let's go.
The Savoy Hotel. The couple arrived on June 1st, 1923, and they had quite the entourage. Fahmy's secretary, Saeed Anani, was in tow, as well as Marguerite's maid and their valet. Now, even though the two of them essentially fucking hated each other at this point, they were trying to play the part of a happy couple because, remember, the media is watching these two.
Oh, of course.
So the first night they were there, they ate at the hotel's restaurant, and then they went dancing in the ballroom. That night, Marguerite went to bed with a .32 semi-automatic pistol. It was loaded with 6 bullets. Now, this might seem like Marguerite had planned to kill Fahmy all along,
Yes.
And that could definitely be the case. But I do have to play devil's advocate here and tell you that she was actually well known to travel with a gun whenever she traveled because she had a big fear of being robbed for her jewelry.
Okay.
But at the same time, we know what happens here.
It's like
maybe it was a little bit of both.
With the magic of foresight right now, we get to be like,
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, Fahmy also actually traveled with a weapon, which he had with him. He had a .25 automatic, which was decorated with gold leaf chasing.
Oh.
And pearls, I believe.
I bet that made it work better.
It was.
Okay, let's be honest. I feel like when we were all really first starting our periods, we all had that moment where we bled through our jeans or something like that. And it always happened at school or at a sleepover somewhere really embarrassing. Periods always come with enough surprises, right? So nobody wants a pad that stinks. And honestly, women have been expected to just deal with that for way too long. That's why Kotex is changing the game with a completely redesigned lineup of pads and liners like Kotex BioCare. Kotex BioCare is the first and only pad with the pH proactive system that helps optimize the pad's pH. And the pad helps combat odor and irritants from period blood. Listen, we take care of our faces with 12-step routines, but we're just going to ignore our downstairs mix-up? Absolutely not. Kotex BioCare gets it, and I love that. Check out Kotex.com for more details on the new launch of Kotex BioCare, available in regular, heavy, overnight, and daily liners. Every flow covered. Now available at retailers nationwide.
Here's a quick podcast for all you true crime fans. The case of the missing Reeses. It was me at the store with my mouth. Motive? They're Reese's. What was I going to do? Stop myself? Tune in next time to see if I do it again. Spoiler, I will. Wow, that had everything. Reese's, suspense, Reese's.
Just fancier,
Yeah, exactly.
Just add a little pizzazz.
A little elegance.
Eleganza on your gun.
So on your gun.
So on July 3rd, I bet Marguerite was happy that she had her gun alongside her because she actually got a pretty strange letter from Paris. The letter, which had racist undertones, said, "Please permit a friend who has traveled widely among Asians," they used a different word, "and who knows the craftiness of their acts to give you some advice. Don't agree to return to Egypt for any object or even Japan. Rather abandon fortune than risk your life. Money can always be recovered by a good lawyer, but think of your life. A journey means a possible accident, a poison in the flower, a subtle weapon that is neither seen nor heard. Remain in Paris with those who love you and those who will protect you."
That's horrifying.
Yeah. So as she finished reading, she showed the note to Fahmy, but he told her that he was sure a hoax, and actually, he wondered if she had written it herself.
Oh, damn.
Which, like, low-key, same.
I was going to say, I mean, not a bad call on his part, I would say.
It is widely believed that that letter was written by her or by someone she knew to kind of...
Because it's literally saying, like, do not go back to Egypt. And she's been telling everybody, I am not going back to Egypt. Like,
exactly.
Hello.
And it's saying, like, oh, there's threats to your life.
Yeah, like, it's making it like you shouldn't go back because your life depends on it.
Exactly. I think it was pretty premeditated, if you ask me.
I would say
so. 6 days after receiving that letter, this gets like a little bit sexual, just so everybody knows.
Oh, it's going to get spicy.
It's going to get yucky.
Uh-oh.
So, Marguerite called the hotel's doctor because she started experiencing some pain from hemorrhoids.
Okay. I mean, you've had a kid.
If you've had IBS, am I right?
Everybody.
No, she actually called earlier in the week for the same reason. And she told the doctor this time that, quote, her husband had torn her by unnatural intercourse.
Ooh.
Meaning,
ouch. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we all
can.
Okay. We can all put two and two together.
I was trying to think of like a good way to say that. And I was like, there really isn't one. So
you know what? I think we've all connected
clues.
The dots.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem.
And she said that he was, quote, always pestering her for that kind of intercourse.
Ouch.
Again, she's trying to prove something here.
Of course.
So she then asked this doctor to document the state that she was in and provide a certificate of her health so that she could show it to her husband if he made it seem like she was lying about the pain she was in.
Wow.
Or also to have on deck to make him look like a bad person after she murdered him, which she was planning to do all along, in my personal opinion. Exactly. And also, I guess one could assume that she was after such receipt for divorce purposes.
Of course.
Now, the first week of their stay at the Savoy was only getting more and more contentious. It was unusually hot in London that week. The temperatures, were in the high 80s and low 90s.
Gross.
So the weather was only adding tension between the two of them. Marguerite's super uncomfortable. Fahmy's wicked hot. They're both just pissed. So on their last morning spent together, they decided to go out for a drive in the hopes that the breeze would offer some alleviation for their discomfort.
Yeah.
Is this giving you Gatsby vibes?
It is.
At this point?
Yeah.
Like when it's too hot, so they have to go
exactly.
to the apartment?
Yep.
So they go back to the hotel for lunch, but it was clear that the breeze really hadn't done much for either of them. They were bickering when the orchestra leader came over and asked them if they wanted to request a song for the band to play.
Oh, yeah, we're doing great over here.
And Marguerite's answer was, "Thank you very much. My husband's going to kill me in 24 hours, so I'm not very anxious for music."
Oh.
How do you respond to that?
I did not see that coming.
"Thank you very much. My husband is going to kill me in 24 hours, and I'm not very anxious for music."
I'd be like, thank you for your honesty.
I'd be like, so...
Do you want me to call the police or nah?
We're going to take a break and we'll come back to you.
I'm a little scared now.
Here's the top 40.
I'd like him to leave.
Yeah, I would call that awkward.
Yeah.
So later that night, around 8 p.m., the couple and their entourage actually were headed to the theater for a show. Marguerite was wearing a white dress that Coco Chanel had personally designed for her.
Damn.
And Fahmy was wearing a tailcoat and a waistcoat. So like they were dressed to the nines.
Fancy.
Yes. Eerily enough, the show that they were heading in to see was The Merry Widow.
Oh.
Yeah, not shocking at all at this point. But pretty much as soon as they got to the theater, they started
fighting.
Yes.
I almost said kissing.
No.
And cuddling.
No.
But I went with fighting, and I'm glad I did.
Silly you.
Silly me.
Yeah, they were fighting almost immediately. They fought throughout pretty much the entire show.
Cool.
So they get back to the hotel a little bit before 11 p.m. and they have dinner. They have a late dinner at the restaurant. So they continue their argument that they'd been having all night. And they
God, what can you argue for that long about?
How do you argue in London?
It also just like, at some point you have to say all that you can say and just be like, well, agree to disagree, I guess. Like, I don't.
Whenever Drew and I get into like any kind of argument, and they're never like this, but whenever we get into any kind of argument, I'm like, what can I say to just like make this be over?
Yeah,
like,
we just end up like doing something stupid to make the other one laugh.
That's what we do.
But it's just like how I understand like big arguments can happen, but like
of course
these are like days and days, just all day, all night, all through dinner, all through a show. It's like
I don't get
even
it.
A show you can't shut the fuck up and just watch a show. Like
you're arguing to the point where a ship captain is having to leave his duties to fucking make sure you're not going to throw each other overboard.
He was wobbling around his vessel because of you guys.
For real.
That's wild.
I also just hate fighting. Like, again, whenever me and Drew get into anything, by the end of it, we're like, I hate that we wasted like the time that we have together doing that. It's just a waste of fucking time.
Oh, it's just, this whole thing is just giving me so much anxiety. I'm like,
yes. When I was reading it and like putting this together, I was also getting a lot of anxiety.
So much fighting.
Yes, a lot of quarreling. So they got so loud with each other that pretty much everybody in the restaurant was staring at them. And also, at this point, they were arguing over where Marguerite should have surgery to remove her hemorrhoids. So people were like really paying attention because they were like, wow, they're really arguing about this.
Wow, hemorrhoids, huh?
In this beautiful establishment, we're talking about hemorrhoid surgery. Because the thing was, Marguerite wanted to have the surgery performed in Paris, but Fahmy wanted her to have it in London because he was on business there.
Mm-hmm.
So at one point, things actually got so heated between them that Marguerite stood up, grabbed a wine bottle off the table, and yelled to her husband, "You shut up or I'll smash this over your head."
Oh my God.
And Fahmy replied, "If you do, I'll do the same to you."
Wow. This is a mutual love.
I'm like, you guys gotta get away from each other. So they were both ushered out of the room by Fahmy's assistant, Saeed. He brought them to the ballroom, hoping that either dancing would distract them or that the music would drown out their screaming. Maybe both.
Yeah.
But Fahmy asked Marguerite to dance, and she said no, and asked Saeed to dance.
Oh.
And went and danced with Saeed instead, clearly trying to piss him off.
Oh, yeah.
So around 1 a.m., Marguerite was ready to go up to bed, and Saeed escorted her up to the suite. After she was all set in the room, Saeed went back down to Fahmy and probably was like, "Bro, do you like really want to do this for the rest of your life? Like, the press
this
might be pretty bad, but this is worse.
Way worse.
Like, I think we should just take the scandal and call it an L."
Of course.
Call an L an L. Now, they had a brief discussion about his and Marguerite's relationship, and then Saeed headed up to bed for the night. In the half hour that Fahmy and Saeed spent talking, Marguerite was penning yet another letter to her doctor. She wanted him to know that Fahmy was not going to take responsibility for her condition, and for that reason, she was going to go to her family in Paris and have the operation done there. So I think she was kind of trying to make it look like, oh, I was just planning to go to Paris because I have to have the surgery.
Of course. So
when Fahmy returned to the room, that's when the argument between the two continued. And as we know, it ended with Fahmy laying close to dead on the hotel room floor. So eventually, now at this point, we know he's been shot.
Yeah.
So eventually Saeed caught wind of what was going on. And when he did, he and the manager actually made arrangements to have Fahmy quietly transported out of the hotel into the hospital so as not to create a spectacle. Yeah. Marguerite was actually still in the room, dazed and looking around for her pistol. She told the manager that the argument started because they were talking about the divorce. Now soon the police arrived and they started questioning her. And as they asked questions, Marguerite handed the letter that she had written over to the doctor, who was also in the room at this point. And at the hospital, Ali Fahmy Bey was pronounced dead at 3:25 a.m.
That's so sad.
At 23 years old.
Whoa.
23.
Damn.
So there was sort of an investigation into the crime, but not really, because they knew who did it. But no photos were taken of the room before the staff were allowed to clean up.
Wow.
And no evidence was really collected except for the bullet casings and the gun. But at that point, like by the time those two things were collected, the gun had been handled by multiple staff members.
Yeah.
But Marguerite admitted to it right when the police got there. And she said that she had actually fired first at the window to scare him. And then she believed that the gun was empty and fired 3 more times and was really shocked when she
3
shot.
bullets came out.
Yeah, it was the craziest thing.
Wild.
So at 7 a.m., she made her formal statement to the police. She told them. So at first she's like really apologetic, but then she's not.
Oh.
She says, I did it. I've told the truth. It doesn't matter. He assaulted me in front of many people since the time we've been married. He's told me many times, kill me. And many people have heard him say so.
She's like, I have witnesses that heard him say kill me.
So I did.
I obliged.
Like, I'm very apologetic
Holy shit.
now. Now, before long, all of the newspapers were reporting on the quote-unquote prince's death. And they were writing first kind of sympathetically and in Marguerite's favor, commenting on her beauty, poise, and elegance.
Wow.
But the next day, they were hyping things up way more and adding all kinds of their own embellishments and being like, fuck her.
Yeah.
So there was a coroner's inquest, and the main question on everybody's minds was not who, but why.
Yeah.
And Saeed was one of the first to testify. And he gave the best insight into Marguerite and Fahmy's lives, telling the jury, they used to insult each other openly and smack each other's faces. It was an impossible life. Yet they loved each other. And he was unhappy when she was out of his sight.
And it's like that doesn't necessarily mean love.
That's toxic.
That means control.
Like he was just explaining toxicity.
She's not near, like he wants to be in control of her.
Exactly.
And vice versa.
Exactly. And it's also just the classic, like when things are good, they're good. But when they're bad, they're oh so bad.
And it's like, no, they shouldn't be that bad.
No, it
like,
should
that's
never
not
be that
love.
bad. It should never be so bad that you are smacking each other's faces.
No, absolutely
That
not.
is abuse.
Exactly.
So at the end of the inquest, the coroner ruled that the cause of death was willful murder. And with that, Marguerite was set to stand trial for the murder of her husband.
Damn.
Now, the newspapers went wild, and it was pretty evident that there wasn't going to be an unbiased juror in Europe, but they had to have the trial regardless.
Yeah.
I think they were a lot less concerned about fair trials back then. And also, she killed him.
Yeah.
So Marguerite's trial started on September 11th, 1923. The prosecution started their arguments by going through the details on the night of the shooting. They noted that before Marguerite and Fahmy had headed over to the banquet hall to dance, Marguerite had looked at Fahmy and told him that she, quote, had finished with him and didn't want him.
Whoa.
So they're like, clearly she was doing this on purpose. And once they had wrapped up with their openings, Saeed was called to testify. It made sense because he had been with them all throughout the whole trip and especially a lot that night. And he was going to be able to paint a picture of all the events that led up to that night. So the defense lawyer, Sir Edward Marshall Hall, asked Saeed, was the deceased a bully, a man in the habit of beating women? And Saeed replied that he had actually never seen Fahmy beat a woman, not once. And clearly, Sir Edward Hall was not satisfied with that answer. And he tried to paint the murdered man even more negatively and asked, how many wives had he when he died? Was he not entitled by law to have 4 wives? And Saeed confirmed that, yes, technically Fahmy could have that many wives, but at the time of his death, he only had the one that killed him.
Yeah.
Clearly what they were trying to do was like, this man, and I do think he did want to be in control of Marguerite.
Yeah.
But I think they were also kind of using his religion
Oh, absolutely.
to paint him in
a more negative light.
In a very poor light. Exactly. Yeah. And they wanted to make it seem like Marguerite was very abused and suffering, and this man was a beast, and he could do whatever he when he wanted.
And this is a frustrating one because it's like, you know, there is abuse happening here, and it's like, but that is not like the cause of all of that. You know, like there's it's such a complex situation.
Exactly.
You can't just paint him as a beast and her as an angel. It's like
you have to paint them both for what they are.
Several layers here to all that, and neither one of them are angels. Like,
no,
by no means. So
not at all. So the second day of the trial, Marguerite took the stand and she explained her versions of the events. And she also added, again, that the argument started over the topic of divorce. She told the jury that Fahmy had sworn on the Bible of Quran that he was going to kill her someday.
Wow.
Something I doubt that he did, because I don't know why you would swear on the Bible that you're going to kill someone, but who am I?
Yeah, you never know.
I have no idea. So when asked why he would want to kill her, she told them that it was because she refused to hand over the jewelry that she had collected before they married.
What?
Which I was like, I don't think that's why.
Yeah.
And when asked to describe her understanding of the gun she shot her husband with, she told the jury, I do not know anything about automatics. I felt when one ball had gone, the pistol was perfectly harmless. I never wanted to kill my husband. I only wanted to prevent him from killing me. Usually when you shoot at somebody, it could kill them.
And yeah, no. You shot one bullet, a bullet came out.
Yeah.
You don't then aim it at someone and be like, I bet it's empty. And then just keep shooting.
Right. Like that.
And you shoot 3 more times and you're like, wow, this isn't empty yet? Like what?
And you say that you don't understand automatics, but then you travel with one and you intend to use it if you ever get robbed.
And if you don't understand it, you definitely shouldn't point it at someone.
Absolutely not.
Especially your husband.
If you don't understand it, you shouldn't sleep with it underneath your pillow. So the hotel doctor that she had been seeing, Dr. E.F. Gordon, was then called to testify. And he told the court that he had found bruising on her arms and legs, as well as scratches, which indicated a physical altercation. And then her sister Yvonne confirmed what the doctor had said, and then elaborated by showing the court the letter that she got from Fahmy, saying that he was trying to train Marguerite.
Yeah.
Now, during their closing arguments, the prosecution kept it simple. Marguerite was tired of family life, she wanted out of Egypt, and she was desperate for a divorce. But when she realized that she couldn't get a divorce in her own way, she killed her husband.
Yeah.
And they also presented a set of letters where Fahmy had gushed over Marguerite and all the things he loved about her. And they argued that he was not the man that the defense was making him out to be. And then it was time for the defense to talk. They argued that Marguerite had been tricked by Fahmy. Edward Marshall Hall exclaimed that as soon as she entered the marriage, quote, every indignity was put upon her. He said that he said that she just stood by and watched as Fahmy took on several mistresses, including her own sister. Said. Yeah.
What a bitch.
I don't know if that was the truth or not.
Oh, I was going to say, if that's true, like, fuck her.
Yeah. He told the jury that Fahmy was a, quote, great hulking muscular fellow, and that was his way, and that his way of intercourse was a constant threat to Marguerite and her safety. And he said that they should believe nothing they heard from Said because he was his master's stooge, quote unquote, and was an equally cunning man.
Ooh.
Which was really rude to Said.
Really rude.
And also, Fahmy was not a great hulking muscular fellow.
Yeah, he doesn't look like it.
He's kind of lanky, pretty thin, and like not
a hulking muscular fellow.
Not a huge dude by any stretch of the imagination. It was a bit much. So on September 5th, the jury deliberated for a little more than an hour. And when they came back, they announced that Marguerite was not
I knew
guilty.
That was coming. I knew it was coming.
Not guilty. So the courtroom literally erupted into cheers. Like they were happy. But the judge wasn't finished. He had the room settle down and then asked the jury if Marguerite was guilty of manslaughter. Again, not guilty.
Wow.
And with that, she was discharged.
What?
So whether or not she planned to kill Fahmy for his wealth, it didn't work out for her. Fahmy didn't have a will in place before his death. And Marguerite was going to have to fight his family if she wanted anything. She probably would have been up for it if it weren't a fight that would have to go down in an Egyptian court that certainly wouldn't be fond of her now. And she actually did sue in civil court, but Fahmy's family had documents that detailed her behavior before, during, and after their marriage.
Oof.
So the Egyptian courts refused to recognize the British court's verdict, and ultimately they wouldn't even entertain Marguerite's claim to the estate because in their book, she was a murderer
guilty.
and she was guilty. So over the following year, she would actually try a few more times to gain access to his estate and anything in the mansion, but every attempt failed.
Wow.
She went on actually to live a very long life, and she died in Paris on January 2nd, 1971.
Wow.
At 80 years old.
Damn.
She murdered a quote-unquote prince of Egypt and then just lived out the rest of her life in Paris.
Holy shit.
How fucking crazy is that story?
I can't believe that. I can't believe it ended with her just getting off.
She got away with all of it, and she got really everything she ever dreamed of. Even though she didn't get Fahmy's money, she had gotten money from several other guys.
Yeah.
She had plenty of money.
Wow.
Absolutely wild.
That is truly outrageous.
Yeah. So nuts.
Damn.
And there's a lot of good books on this case. I'm going to link a couple that I used in the show notes, obviously. But that one by Andrew Rose was a great read.
Yeah.
And it has a lot more information on her affair with the prince. But obviously, like, I didn't want to take all of it and put it in here. So I would check that out if you were interested in this story and any of the other books that I link.
Oh, that's amazing.
Crazy.
Damn,
crazy
what a
story.
tale.
I know. Marguerite Alibert, the murderer of the Prince of Egypt, Ali Fahmy Bey.
Damn.
I know. It's a really sad story.
It is. That's the thing. It's just really sad.
Because if nobody wins, really. I mean, if anybody does, she did, because she got to live out the rest of her life and have access to everything. But it's like, did you really win?
Like, how dark is that?
I know.
You just shot this guy, this 23-year-old guy in a hotel room. Like,
Right.
and your marriage was so fraught and terrible and abusive. And it's like, oh God, like
just
all of that is
sad.
dark.
Just so sad overall.
Very sad. Damn.
But that's it. Do you think?
Thank you for that.
You're welcome. You think that she went into that trip planning it?
It
What do you
sure
think?
seems like there was something.
I
there.
think she went into the trip.
Yeah,
planning
it seems like she had been putting together the little pieces of it for a while.
Like, I don't think this was like a snapped situation.
No, I think she probably knew she wanted to do that.
I think so too.
Yeah, that's what it seems like, at least.
You're gonna have to let us know what you guys think.
Oof.
And with that, we hope you keep listening.
And we hope you
Keep
it
weird. But not to worry about any of this.
No,
No.
literally none of it.
Never. I would be so disappointed. Bye.
I like things my way. My coffee, my schedule, and my treatment. So I talked to my doctor about self-injecting with the Vyvgart Hytrulo pre-filled syringe, which contains efgartigimod alpha and hyaluronidase QVFC. It's injected under your skin, subcutaneously. It means I can inject in my space, on my time. It's my treatment, my way. Visit VyvgartMyWay.com. That's VYVGART MyWay.com. And talk to your doctor about Vyvgart Hytrulo. Brought to you by Argenix.
You've tried melatonin, the white noise machine, the blackout curtains, the magnesium, and you're sleeping fine. Not great, just fine. At some point, you have to consider the 4-year-old pillow is doing more damage than the magnesium is fixing. Coop Sleep Goods is running a bundle sale July 9th through the 20th. The starter bundle is the move. 2 pillows plus a sheet set, 40% off. And we're not saying it'll fix everything. We're just saying you've tried everything else. Coop's pillows are adjustable, designed to fit how you sleep, not just tolerate it. Mix and match any 2 pillows at 25% off or go all in on the starter bundle. One real upgrade beats 6 mediocre ones. Head to coopsleepgoods.com/comedy. That's COOP sleepgoods.com/comedy for 40% off the starter bundle and 25% off all other bundles.